In 1974, a researcher named Robert Gilbert began a decades-long investigation into what he would come to call the science of the energy body, a field grounded in Rosicrucian tradition, sacred geometry, and decades of cross-traditional practice. The technique you're about to learn comes from a single afternoon in December 2006, taught at a week-long sacred geometry intensive in the United States. What Gilbert taught that day, to a room of advanced practitioners, is one of the most portable, immediately verifiable inner tools you'll encounter anywhere in the esoteric literature. It's called friction breathing. By the end of this video, you won't just understand it, you'll have done it. Before Dr. Gilbert introduces the breathing technique, he lays a foundation that most energy practitioners recognize immediately, but rarely have a precise name for. He's describing a practice he calls zero-point centering. The core idea is simple. Whenever you become aware of any energy center, in your body or anywhere, you can move your awareness into its very center. And in doing so, you penetrate it. It opens. The challenge he identifies is one most meditators know well.
Whenever you become aware of an energetic center, and we're going to do it today by becoming aware of a center within our body of energy, but it could be of any energetic center or of anything. Some groups will call this tuning in. If you're working with an external person in front of you or with an object, something of that kind, you tune in to its energy quality, its vibration, its frequency, however you want to think of it.
That's the mechanism. But Dr. Gilbert identifies a problem, particularly for practitioners new to this work. The energy centers can feel amorphous, vague. You sense something might be there, but you can't get a stable grip on it. That's where breathing becomes a tool, not just a bodily process, but a directed energetic instrument.
So that one of the practices that you will find in multiple traditions, and particularly in the Himalayas, is to create particular types of vibration at the throat. And this subtle vibration at the throat creates an excess energy that can then be donated to, in this case for us, an energy center in our own bodies to make it more tangible.
Donated. That word is precise. The throat doesn't amplify the energy center directly. It generates surplus energy that can be directed wherever you're working. This is the operative principle behind friction breathing. Understanding it changes how you experience the technique. Why the throat specifically? Dr. Gilbert's answer operates on two levels, physiological and symbolic, and the two converge on the same observation.
So within the human energy body and physical body, there's a particular center that has the specific purpose of creating external vibration, and that is the throat center, especially the larynx. The throat center, the larynx, if you just think about it, it's fairly obvious, is the part of our energy anatomy that is specialized to create a vibration that is sent out externally.
The larynx is the one organ in the human body built to generate vibration and project it outward. We use it every time we speak. What the esoteric traditions recognized, and what Gilbert draws out here, is that this outward projection capability also works inward. You can point the same organ toward any energy center in your own body. Dr. Gilbert connects this to a symbol that appears across multiple ancient traditions, most explicitly in Egypt.
Now you'll see in a number of traditions that they will talk about this power of the larynx, and they will compare it in many cases to the buzzing of a bee. In fact, if you go to ancient Egypt and you study the hieroglyphs, and you study the way that they represent functions, you'll notice that they use the form of the bee in many cases, because the bee has specific functions in nature. One thing that the bee does is that it creates this very strong vibration. That's why you hear the buzzing of the bee. And if we create that type of buzzing sound at the throat, you'll quickly become aware of the type of energy, the power that it has.
The bee in Egyptian hieroglyphics isn't decorative. It's a functional glyph, a precise observation about vibratory transmutation. Bees convert nectar into honey through a vibratory process tied to their buzzing. Gilbert sees this as an accurate encoding of a natural principle. Sustained vibration at the right frequency transmutes one substance into another. At the human throat, it converts breath into concentrated, subtle energy that can be directed and given. Before teaching friction breathing, Dr. Gilbert gives students a direct experience of the underlying principle through a preparatory exercise. He asks them to feel the raw vibratory power of the throat itself, the loud version, the version you can't use in public. Feeling it first makes the subtler technique immediately comprehensible.
Now what I want you to do is to make a strong buzzing or humming sound with the throat, and just tune into the feeling of energy at the throat when you do so. Try it one more time. Okay, you can open your eyes. So you should be able to feel that very tangibly with the fingertips, but also you can feel it throughout your entire energy body. In fact, if you do it for a few minutes, your body will start to get very warm.
Try it now if you want. 2 fingers at the base of the throat, strong humming sound, 10 seconds. The warmth Dr. Gilbert describes isn't metaphorical. It's the energy body responding to the vibration directly. You can feel it building. Now the problem is obvious. You can't do this in public. That practical limitation, humming is conspicuous, humming draws attention, is precisely what friction breathing is designed to solve. It produces the same vibratory effect at the throat through breath alone, without any sound that anyone around you can hear. That's the elegant part. Now, Dr. Gilbert introduces the technique itself. He teaches it in 3 progressive stages, each one quieter than the last. The progression is important. You need to feel the vibration strongly before you can detect its silent version.
So, one method that you can use to work with this is something that is called the throat friction or the friction breathing. Now this is based on having a slight constriction at the base of the throat, where you slightly pull in the muscles at the base of the throat. And then you have a strong breathing going in and out. And as the breath moves through the center with that slight constriction, it creates a vibration.
The muscular motion is subtle. Think of the feeling right before you fog up a mirror, or the slight back of throat narrowing that happens when you whisper. Not a squeeze, not a hard closure, just a slight narrowing. Then breathe strongly through that narrowing.
We're going to do it to begin with in a way that is very strong and audible so that you can hear it. And when we did this at the Clair Vision School, they would jokingly call it Darth Vader breathing, because that's what it sounds like. So it's something like, so I want you to give that a try, and I want you to do it with your mouth open and making a strong, audible sound.
Stage 1 is the loudest, mouth open, strongly audible. The raspy sound is normal. That's air moving through the constriction, not a vocal cord sound at all.
Now this is not a buzzing and it is not a humming, and you're not making a vocal sound. It's only the sound of the air going in and out of the throat with a slight constriction here. And I want you to feel that this creates a vibration at the throat when you do it. That's like the buzzing, only it's more subtle. But also it's something you can do without other people picking up on. So to begin with, the mouth is open, strong, audible, but not vocal breathing, and feeling the vibration here at the base of the throat. And then see if you can make it more subtle still to where there is no audible sound, but you still have a subtle vibration at the throat that you can pick up on. Okay, and you can relax for a moment. This is the friction breathing.
That is the target, a completely silent internal vibration that only you can detect. On a bus, in a waiting room, in a meeting, the technique disappears entirely into normal breathing, while still generating the same vibratory effect at the throat. That portability is the whole point.
Let's do this together now.
Find a comfortable seated position, spine upright, not rigid, just aligned. Pull your chin in slightly until you feel what Dr. Gilbert calls an energetic click, the back of the head aligning with the spine. He's precise about this. Aligned posture always gives a better result. Take a few slow, deep breaths. Let the mental chatter settle. We're moving out of thinking and into pure awareness. Place your attention at the space between your eyebrows, about half an inch inside the head. Don't create anything. Don't visualize anything. This is pure observation. You're noticing what's actually there. Vibration, tingling, pressure, a sense of extra density. Whatever you feel, that's your starting layer, the first contact. Now begin the friction breathing. Mouth open first if you want the stronger signal. Slightly constrict the base of the throat. Breathe in and out through that constriction. Feel the vibration building at the base of the throat.
And as you continue to do this, become simultaneously aware of the vibration at the throat and the vibration at the third eye. So with the awareness at the third eye and of the vibration at the throat, let those two link together, be energetically linked so that the vibration at the throat is directly going to and feeding the vibration or whatever you feel at the third eye center. So in other words, you feel the third eye being supported and energetically increased by the vibration from the throat.
Stay with your authentic experience. If light or color appears, let yourself drop into that layer. If not, stay exactly where you are. That layer is real, and it is enough. When you're ready, let the friction breathing go. Breathe normally. Rub your palms together until they're warm. Cup them over your closed eyes. No pressure against the eye itself, and let the warmth sink in.
What Dr. Gilbert is describing in that practice isn't just a relaxation technique. He's describing a navigable architecture, a specific structure of the energy body that the technique allows you to traverse layer by layer. He identifies 3 layers accessible in a single session. The first layer, the one most people encounter immediately, is what energy science calls the etheric body.
So that when you're at this first layer of the vibration and pressure, you're actually at the layer of the etheric body, the life body, the chi, ki, prana. And as you move to the other layers and become aware of deeper phenomena, it's actually moving into deeper layers of your own energy body. That's the secret of moving into the center with your awareness. That's the secret of 0-point centering.
Past the etheric layer, if you keep centering deeper, light or color can emerge. That's the astral body. And past that, Dr. Gilbert describes something with striking precision, a dark purple overlay like ultraviolet light that covers the entire field of perception. Not a cloud, not a point, a complete overlay. He connects this to what Egyptian tradition calls the atmosphere of the angels, the threshold of the spiritual plane, perceivable through ordinary inner attention combined with this technique. The final thing Dr. Gilbert says about this practice frames everything.
because every practice that we do structures our body of energy. Even what I do lying on the couch at home watching TV structures my body of energy. It might not be a way that I want to structure it, but it's still structuring it. Everything we do with our attention and awareness, particularly with things that are very quiet, focused, internal awareness, very strongly create these structures.
That context changes the stakes. You're not doing a breathing exercise. You're making a deliberate choice about how your energy body gets structured, rather than leaving it to habit, distraction, or circumstance. Friction breathing is a portable tool for that deliberate structuring. It works in the first session. The structures deepen with daily practice. One balance principle Dr. Gilbert emphasizes: if you do intensive work at the third eye, also spend time with your lower energy centers, heart and belly. Any direction you develop, also develop its opposite. The field requires balance. If this is the kind of practice you want more of, grounded, tradition accurate, immediately verifiable through your own direct experience, subscribe. There's much more of Dr. Gilbert's work here, and we're going much deeper.